Hello, everyone, and it's another day and another beautiful person to talk to. I've got Randa Saab here. That's right, pronunciation, Randa?
That's right. Hello, Victoria.
Very nice to meet you. We haven't actually met, but we're collaborating on the Come Eat With Me exhibition. What made you get into art in the first place? Where did you start from?
Okay, first, thank you for receiving me on your show. And regarding my start, actually, I didn't come from an artistic background. I studied business studies at the American University of Beirut, and after studying for my MBA and having worked all my life in various industries, I decided that my passion is artistic. So I took time off and I restudied for a BA in fine arts. I graduated 3 years ago, so I'm a fresh graduate, you can say.
Good. Done.
But it's really a joy to be working in the field of art. It's a passion.
And what's your specialism, or what do you favour, and which mediums do you use?
Actually, I've learned most mediums and I work in most of it, but I seem to find acrylics to be the easiest. But I do work in sculpture, I do work in textile as well, and you name it, just whatever takes your fancy.
I can see in the background there you have a couple of icons. So you've done some iconography before, have you? There's one. I can see St. Thomas with his
Yeah.
Up. And who's the other one? Is that Christ? I can't see. Make it out.
The other one, actually, I have studied iconography at the university, not too extensive, but I studied about tempera and how to make the colors and the gold leaf and so on. But of course, it needs more practice for somebody to be a real iconographer. But it's a joy to do icons because you go into the spiritual realm of the saint, and it's a sort of a meditation, which gets the skill and the emotional state of the artist as well at the same time. Now, the icons in the background, funny enough, they're both St. Thomas.
Oh, are they?
Just to show you how in the world of icons, the icon may not be the same face of the person as he was many years ago, thousands of years ago, but it's the feel that this is the image that represents the spirit of that virtuous person, of that spiritual person. Now, the Thomas, which is the doubting Thomas with the finger, this is the one that Leonardo da Vinci adopted in his Last Supper. Whereas the other one is the icon of Saint Thomas, which is adopted by some of the churches in India, in southern India, because when Thomas started preaching, after Christ has gone, and Thomas looked towards the east, and he traveled to the south of India, where he started preaching there. And this is the one.
Yes.
Side.
Yes.
That's the one that's being adopted by doing some research and so on. So I like them both.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that the exhibition asks for roundels, for a beautiful circle, like a halo around the saint or the significant person. And it's quite stunning. It's different, isn't it, to iconography? They don't usually do circles. But it's very nice to see the contrast and exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah, I was going to say about the exhibition itself. I know you do sculpture, and I've seen some of your sculptures very fine and exquisite. Some of it's kind of a little bit more rustic, rougher. It's interesting how your skills vary in the outcome of what you're trying to do. I find it quite, as an artist, you're quite what's the word, eclectic in what you produce.
Well, we follow, I mean, there is a certain, it's a science how to, I mean, there are measurements for the face and for the head and so on. But sometimes the artist may have an artistic, what do you call it?
License.
License, exactly.
Yeah.
And it also depends on the state, the mood, what the artist wants the sculpture to say. Yeah, for example, I've done a sculpture for Charles Dickens, and to do this, I had to do a lot of research and get the head from different angles, and I'm pleased with the result. But of course, it's not like when you have the sitter sitting in front of you and you just choose the moment and choose the emotion of the sitter. But I mean, this is what what we can do. Other sculptures also, for example, I have this one. I don't know whether it's clear in the camera behind me.
Oh, yes, yes. Now that's
Uh,
interesting.
it's called Contemplation,
Yes, okay.
and
It,
still,
it makes a statement, doesn't it?
um, yeah, I think it's also contemplative and in a
Oh,
meditative mood.
yeah, it's very
So,
calm.
so art is really an interaction between the subject and the mood and the artist himself.
Mm.
We just want something to appeal to people, that is to communicate with people. If you want to convey a message, or
Yeah.
if you want to say a statement, art
Mm.
can be a very good medium for that.
Mm. I think you did very well in the sense that, again, the icons are people who have passed, and Charles Dickens has passed. And the interesting thing, I have seen the picture, I've seen a photograph of that sculpture, and I immediately recognised who it was. So it must be a good likeness based on the photos and that, because he lived in this area and went to Rochester Cathedral, didn't he?
Yeah,
Go
he did.
Yeah. So he lived in Rochester and Strood for a long time. And yeah, so I commend you on the likeness, because when I saw it, I didn't doubt who it was. I knew straight away, and it could have been any number of Victorian men. So I
Well,
recognized him.
it was enjoyable to be able to sculpt such a prominent personality
Mm, mm,
in British culture, in British literature.
yeah. And so do you reflect or do you spend time delving into your own original culture, your family culture, and drawing art from that as well? Or is that not something that you do?
I draw art from humanity.
Yeah, wherever.
Wherever there is a human being, human emotion,
Yeah.
that's where I draw art from. Um, and humanity, the emotion is international, whether it's happiness or pain or suffering or complete joy.
Mm.
It's common. So that's where I draw my art from the human being itself.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially if you're channeling them. That's very, because I like the idea of the sacredness of art. And this particular, what do you think about the exhibition being situated in the Rochester Cathedral, in that huge setting of the great vastness of the pillars and the ceilings so high and the ancient artworks around? Do you think that is helpful when it comes to being creative?
Well, it's a fantastic idea. I mean, you're putting history in perspective. First,
Mm,
getting that iconic piece of oak, which is
mm,
fossilized 5,000 years ago, and having it as a table and calling it the nation's table, which is wonderful, and getting Leonardo's painting into the scope as well as the cathedral. I mean, you're bringing history from all aspects and putting it together for us to enjoy, for everybody to enjoy.
I think
It's history in motion, history in action.
yes, I do think it's a unique exhibition, isn't it? It's a unique installation, and if it wasn't for the table, probably we wouldn't be doing it.
There should always be a reason for doing art, but with this table, it's really historic and very unique. And when you think about everything is artistic, doing the table is artistic,
Yes.
just polishing is artistic.
Beautiful.
Architecture, the architecture of the cathedral is artistic, and it's one of the really masterpieces in architecture of cathedrals. So it's good to combine all those aspects and for us all to enjoy.
I think for myself, the fact that there's a 5,000-year-old table in thousands of years old, this cathedral is one of the oldest in England, it's the second eldest in England that's standing, and it's one of the most used cathedrals. So for me then to come in as contemporaries and contemporary artists, some of the work is very contemporary. It's a wonderful melting pot of common ancestry, if you like, and a history of the country and a history of the people that live here. But it's also really good for children and for visitors and for people who aren't religious to come into, and people who don't particularly like art but like history, perhaps, you know. So it's very crowd pleasing in that sense. It's able to draw in a lot of people from different aspects of the community and hopefully to instill and inspire them. So
like for example, as you said, it brings people like the title is "Come Dine with Me" or "Come Eat with Me." Now this is a for people to be together. This is the oneness, the camaraderie, the just the goodwill. This is what all spirituality is all about.
One of the things that I feel is a table of hope, because we all had to tread away from this exhibition, and I'm hoping myself that we'll all be inspired to try art, to try sculpture, to like you say, to be willing and have goodwill to each other and to move forward. So it's I think it's quite a grand event, really. It's much grander than I expected.
Yeah, it is, and it also reminds us to look within and to question life, to question right and wrong, good or bad, evil or good, to question all that, and what's most important to us as human beings, what's the most important in life, what does spirituality wants us to achieve. I mean, in each person there's a germ of a saint. Do we want to really develop that germ, or do we want to just let it die? So I think we all have to question ourselves, and it's good that we have visual stimuli that can remind us of what we need to question or what we need to delve into. And
it's so beautiful. It's inspiring. The gold, I think, as you can see behind you, reflects back to us that there is a beauty in life as well. And I think art can do that. It can reflect both sides of the coin.
Just
and
to
we do that through art. Art is a wonderful way to do that, to touch people.
Through art, through meditation, through prayer.
And there's some wonderful music as well. We've got some first century lyre music from Michael Levy playing in the background, and I think it just evokes emotion, doesn't it, music? So it's a wonderful exhibition. I'm glad you've contributed and that you've brought your feelings about life and humanity into your work and the spirituality of us all. And I'm looking forward to that emanating from that lovely table. It's beautiful. Yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing your work as well. I'm
Oh, well, yeah.
as a participant.
Mention. So there's a lot of work gone into this exhibition, and it's much appreciated. And your work is beautiful. Can't wait to meet you in person. And I'd like to thank you for discussing your take on it all, and the way that you work. And it's very interesting how you've developed. So I'd like to thank you, Randa, for speaking with us today.
I thank you, Victoria, also for dedicating your time to support this lovely project. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Can you just say how anyone can get hold of you if they want to talk to you about your work or have a look at your sculpture, etc.? How would they contact you?
I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, LinkedIn, or the social media.
In the comments, I will put all your
Okay.
so they can find you then. So that's lovely. You have a website. Is that Randa Saab?
I don't have a website. I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
At Randa Saab Art. At Randa Saab Art.
Randa Saabart. So I'll just say thank you. And if you're watching this and listening to this lovely video with Randa, I urge you to come along on the 10th to the 17th at Rochester Cathedral. Come along and see this magnificent installation. It's really quite fabulous. It's unique. And there's so much talent and effort and openness within. And also go to YouTube and have a look at some of the other interviews. And yeah, if you're seeing this retrospectively, definitely go to the website, Spirit Arts UK website. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. See you again for the next interview. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Randa.